Welcome to the GCN Tech Clinic, where you submit your tech-related questions using the hashtag AskGCNTech down in the comments section below, and then we pick a selection of them to answer to hopefully help you with your tech-related cycling issues. So I'm now joined by Edwin from Vugt, who is the creator of Speedbar. Speedbar, if you're unfamiliar, are custom-made aerodynamic tri-bars that are used by, base bars that are used by, well, some of the world's best athletes. So Victor Campenaerts in his hour record and Rowan Dennis in his World Championship winning ride were both on bikes equipped with Speedbar. So we thought it'd be great to ask some TT bar and aero related tech clinic questions to Edwin. So without further ado, we've got a question here from Mike Davies 1, who says he's got a set of quick release time trial bars on his bike. So I think just clip-in ones, and he's put them on his road bike. And he wants to install some shifters onto his bar ends of his tri-bars and connect them to his Di2. Now, he's wanting to know about, can he just connect, how easy is it to connect extra shifters into his Di2 junction box, and what are the best kind of shifters to put in on the ends of the tri-bars, because there's different Di2 ones. So yeah, what would you recommend for that?
Well, the good thing about the Shimano E-Tube system or the Di2 system is you got a variety of shifters that you could use. There are the ones that you can plug into the end of the extension, so you can shift like this. You also have, I guess it's an older model, which have the buttons on the side, but maybe which also could work and is a good idea for him. Shimano also has this sprint shifter, which you can place everywhere on your handlebar, like here or here, whatever you want, which also hooks up to the E-Tube system the same as the other shifters, but you have much more, well, freedom in where you want to place the shifter. So maybe that's also a good option. But when it comes to connecting the shifter to the system, when you do that, always remember to go to your E-Tube to your E-Tube program, and to let the system know that the shifters are there, and to give them the function that you would like to have them to have.
Because you could, in theory, set them up to control your head unit as well, if you wanted to. Yeah. So E-Tube's good. But he's wondering, like, is there any compatibility issue between, like, if you use, because he's using 8070 Ultegra, so could he use the older version, like Di2 shifters, or the newer ones? It's all cross-compatible, isn't it? So,
as long as it has the E-Tube system, so the same connectors, then it's all exchangeable. But please remember to go to the E-Tube program, because there are different types of software, and every part of your bike should have the same type of software, of course, to interact with each other in a proper way. So when you do install it, go to the E-Tube project program and let them all communicate in a proper way with each other.
He's wanting to know as well if, like, exposed Di2 wires will be a problem, and what's the best way to route the wire, like Di2 cables, through the bars. Have you got any advice on that?
Well, it really depends on the system actually which he is using. Some systems you can house the cables within the handlebar, but in the end they have to come out somewhere to connect with the junction box. So there's not like a general way or rule how you should do it. It really depends on the system you're using.
And often you can get them to go through, on a traditional round tri-bar, you just get it to come through the back, can't you? Just the back of the tri-bar, and then just feed it in somewhere that way. But I guess I'd probably say you use a bit of black electrical tape to tighten up the cables if you're worried about them.
Always works with tape.
Yeah. So next question is from Angus Stoneham 1, who says, I'm looking for aero upgrades on my bike. What are the narrowest handlebars on the market that you know of or would suggest? And are there any performance disadvantages?
Well, the disadvantage is, of course, the control you have on your bike during crosswinds and stuff like that. So I wouldn't suggest to go as narrow as possible on your crossbars, because in the end you also want to stay safe on your bike, which is the most important thing, I guess.
Because you've worked as a pro mechanic, right, as well. So, I mean, have there any pros come to you and said, oh, I want like really narrow bars, or they've tried them and then they've gone back to wider ones, or like?
Well, there are a number of sprinters who like to use more narrow bars,
Yeah.
but actually that's not because it's better for them for sprinting, because for sprinting you would actually like to have a more wider setup so you can pull harder on the handlebars. But for them it's more to get just in that narrow gap for them to get in a good position.
Yeah.
To stay in the wheel of their lead out man, and if there's a narrow gap and you have a small handlebar, well, of course you will have an advantage over that. But no, in terms of control and safety, I wouldn't go as narrow as possible on a drop bar. No.
Yeah. And comfort as well, I guess, could be compromised.
Yeah, because a taller or wider person has to use wider handlebars. So if you go like smaller, it's not better for your position on your bike. That's for sure.
Yeah. Next question is from Yannick Kurzweil, who says, I would love to use carbon aero road bars that allow TT extensions. So I think by that he means, like, you know, when you have a bar on your handlebars, but they're not round cross section. So he's saying, are there any products out there that allow me to clip on some TT bars onto an aero bar, drop bar?
If there are any products out there, they're supplied by the brand of the handlebar itself most of the time. I know Envy has a clamping system for their aero road bars, and there should be other companies who would have them, I guess. But please don't go with like an aftermarket solution for an aero bar, which just has the perfect fit or whatsoever. If you want to do it, please make sure you use a handlebar with a dedicated clamping system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it can get quite, I mean, you've got a lot of experience in making things out of carbon fiber. I guess how easy is it to crack things if you clamp them in correctly on carbon?
Very easy. Yeah. Carbon fiber, well, like the word is saying, is made out of fibers, and what I always say, you can't push with a rope, if you know what I mean. So which is the same for carbon fiber. When the fiber is strong when you pull in it. So when the fiber is the load on the fiber is like a pulling load, then there's no worries at all. But when you go clamping or whatsoever, I wouldn't suggest to do that. No.
Cool. Yeah. Right. Well, thanks very much for answering the questions and coming in, Edwin.
Thank you.
Great chatting to you, man.
Okay.
And if you've got any questions about time trial bars or getting aero and custom carbon, then fire them in and we'll try and get them answered next week using the hashtag AskGCNTech down below for next week's Tech Clinic.